Hello and welcome back to AutoCAD in 20 Hours, Chapter 1. This video covers sections 1.9 through 1.14 and visit www.AutoCAD in20hours for a free trial and more information. Let's look at the YouTube settings here. You've got this little gear here on your YouTube viewing window. Click on it. Click on the quality setting and select an HD setting if that's available to you. That may not be available. It depends on the speed of your internet connection. Okay, here's where we left off last time. We are going to make a copy of this, but before we do that, we're going to erase a couple of lines. These two lines here, let's select them both and hit the delete button on your keyboard, or you can click on the erase button. Now on the modify toolbar, click on the copy button, then click on the screen to the right and below your drawing, and then again to the left and above your drawing so that you cover it completely in a green selection window. Then click, enter, click in the center of the drawing, and then come over to the side, click again, and enter. And there's a copy that we'll use later on for some other parts of the drawing. Now we're going to add in some more lines, and these lines that we are about to add represent the kitchen cabinets. We're going to use the offset tool. It is on the modify toolbar. Click on the offset, type 24 and enter. Then click on the lower of the upper two lines and then in the middle of the drawing. You can right click and enter, or just enter on your keyboard, and then you can right click again and you can repeat the offset that way, or click on the offset button again. Type 24, enter. Type on the inside of the two lines to the left and click in the center, and then enter. Click on the offset again and type 8 foot 8. That's 8 with an apostrophe to represent feet, and 8. 8 apostrophe 8 is the same as 8 foot 8. Enter. Now click on this line that you just created and click in the middle of the drawing again and enter. Now we're going to trim these lines out. On the modify toolbar, click on trim and enter right away. And then that creates a cutting tool, and we're going to trim out these lines. Enter. Now select this little piece of line that's left and delete it or erase it. Okay. The next command that we're going to explore is the snap from command, and it's on the object snap toolbar. If you don't have that toolbar up, then you can hover over any toolbar, right click, and in the menu that comes up you can select the object snap toolbar and then dock it off to the side. Click on the line button, then immediately click on the snap from button. Now come over and find this endpoint icon on the inside of these two lines. Click on that and come along that same line until you find the midpoint icon. Do not click on it. Once again, if you don't have that icon up, then you can come down here to the object snap button, right click, and turn it on. Turn on the midpoint. But we should have turned that on when we did the setup. Or you can click here on the settings and you can set it from this menu also. There's the midpoint there. Okay, so we're going to hover over the midpoint and we're going to type this is, let me just check here, that dimension is 7'5", and enter. And now you'll see we've got a line that attaches to that other line 7'5" from the starting point. If we didn't have the ortho on, we could, let me just show you. Let's turn the ortho off. You can see I could now draw a line in any direction off of that, but we have the ortho on. So we're going to pull down, type 3 foot, enter, and then enter again or escape. Now click the offset button, type 3.5, enter, click on that line and then off to the left and enter. Click on the trim button, enter right away, and trim these lines out. Then enter, click on the line button, and let's create a line between the two ends to cap off the end of the wall. Very good. Let's get rid of this line here. Click on it and delete. Now we're going to put the sink and the stove in, and in order to do that, we're going to go to the Draw toolbar, click on the rectangle, and click in the drawing, and then read the command line. It gives you a number of options. One of them is dimensions. That's what we want. So we'll type D, enter. And then it says specify the length for the rectangles. We're going to type 30, enter. Then it says specify the width. We're going to type 24, enter. And there it is. It appears on the screen, but it doesn't set until you click. So click to set it in place. Now come up and hit the copy button and click on any side of the rectangle. You see any side will select it because it's one object. And then enter. Click in the center and create a copy off to the side. Look at that, it disappears when you click, and then you enter and it comes back again. Okay, now we're going to rotate one of these. So on the modify toolbar, click on the rotate button, click on the edge of this rectangle and enter. It says specify base point. That's the point around which it will rotate. We're not too picky right now. We could pick anywhere. We'll just click anywhere in the middle. And then it says specify rotation angle. Ours is 90. Type 90, enter. And you'll see it rotated it 90 degrees. Now we're going to move these and set them in place. So on the modify toolbar, come down, click on the move button. Click on this rectangle, enter, and it says specify base point. Now this time the base point matters, and it's going to be this midpoint, the rectangle, or the triangular icon, which is the midpoint of this rectangle. We'll snap on that, and you'll see we got the ortho on, so it looks like we're restricted in where we can move it, but in fact if you come up here and find the midpoint of this line and click on it, it will set it there. But let's turn the ortho off for now. Come down to the bottom and click on the ortho button and turn it off. You can also use the F8 key on your keyboard. So type that in there and watch what happens to the command line. Ortho on, ortho off. Let's turn it off. Let's click the move button again. Click on the other rectangle, enter, and we're going to grab it by the triangular midpoint icon and come up and snap it to the midpoint icon here on this line. Very good. Now we're going to create the inside line of the sink. So let's use the offset for that. Click on the offset, type 3, enter, and then click on any line on the rectangle and in the center, and it will create an offset line. Press your escape. We're going to round out the corners of the sink just to make it look more like a sink. So on the modify toolbar, come down and find the fillet button, click on it, and then read the command line. it gives you a number of options. We want the radius options, so type R, enter, and then type 2, enter, and then read the command line. It gives you some options again, and we want the multiple option, so type M, enter, and now you can go around and click on all the corners twice, and that's what the multiple command does for you. It allows you to repeat the command without having to click the button and go through the steps every time. And then once you're done, enter. And there's our sink. Now we're going to create the burners for the stove. Let's create some reference lines. Click on the line tool, then on the midpoint of the rectangle and the midpoint of the other side, and then enter and repeat the line command. And we're going to use the midpoints of the other two sides. Now we're going to create 4 diagonal lines, and they must be 4 separate lines. You can't make them just 2 lines or this won't work. Now let's go over to the draw toolbar, select the circle, click over here in the drawing and read the command line. Specify radius of circle or diameter. We want the diameter, so let's type D, enter, and then type 6, enter, and then click on the screen to set it. And I got a selection box. Let's escape to get rid of that. Now we're going to copy that over into our reference line, so click on the copy button, click on the circle, enter, and then we're going to click on the center icon, snap objects icon. If you don't have that, come down to the bottom. Once again, right click on the snap button, and you can set it from this fly-up menu, or you can set it from the settings menu. And here you got the center. Turn that on. So grab it by the center, and then we're going to copy it to the midpoint of these diagonal lines. And this is how you can set things to the center of a rectangle. Let's select these lines all together with the selection window and delete them or erase them. And let's erase this. And that is it for this lesson. Be sure to visit us at www.autocadin20hours.com for your free trial and for more information.